Are you a food lover who loves to explore new cuisines while travelling, or even trying something different in your local area? Well, if so, like me, you might have turned to TripAdvisor restaurant reviews to find the best local eateries. But let's be honest, relying solely on TripAdvisor might not always lead you to the best dining experiences. I think we tend to believe that trying local dishes and visiting authentic restaurants is a crucial part of exploring a destination. It's not just about filling our stomachs, but also discovering the soul of the place through its food. However, in many tourist towns and cities, there are designated areas that cater primarily to tourists and not to locals. Even though these places may have fantastic restaurants, they may not be the ones that the locals frequent for real food. So before you trust TripAdvisor restaurants blindly, let us discuss 3 big issues that you should be aware of. And also, if you watch the end of this video, I'll give you a number of tips and techniques to help you avoid relying on TripAdvisor too much when trying somewhere new. So if you're serious about finding the best local cuisine, relying solely on black box algorithms and ratings might not lead you to the most authentic dining experience. For me, the biggest issue is fake reviews, and it seems to be like it's becoming a bigger and bigger problem, with companies such as TripAdvisor and Yelp being unable to stem the flow. You may well be aware of the story of Vice journalist Ubar Butler, who managed to get the Shed in Dulwich, a completely fake restaurant by the way, to the #1 rated restaurant for the whole of London. Now that is no mean feat, and definitely serves to highlight one of the problems for genuine restaurants. So fake reviews, overly critical or optimistic ones, and paid reviews are all serious issues. Sure, TripAdvisor warns about fake reviews, but it's just too easy for a dishonest competitor to game the system and post fake or overly harsh reviews. Or, on the other side, a restaurant's friends to post an overly good review that's not really deserved. And this is where TripAdvisor's biggest flaw lies. There's just no accountability. We all know that the majority of the reviews are probably legitimate, but there's simply no way for TripAdvisor to guarantee the honesty of a review. Now compare this to a professional food writer for a newspaper or serious online source. We see their name, we know who they write for, and their reputation. We probably trust them. And here's another thing that surprised me. Did you know that there are way more Google searches for the worst TripAdvisor review or the funniest TripAdvisor reviews than actually the best TripAdvisor reviews? It's really not a great look for TripAdvisor, that's for sure. Sites like Yelp and TripAdvisor say false reviews represent a tiny percentage of the overall posts that make it online. They will point to their use of technology and human investigators, which allows them to weed out bad posts so they rarely get published. But still, as customers, we rely more and more on the ratings of people who say they've visited a restaurant or hotel, so the need to update technology that separates authentic posts from false posts is only growing. Secondly, locals don't write reviews. Another thing I've noticed is that locals don't tend to share their experiences on restaurant reviews in TripAdvisor. I for one eat out a fair bit, but I've never felt the need to share my thoughts on the local Italian via TripAdvisor. But if someone were to ask me for my thoughts, I'd be only too happy to offer an opinion, be it good or bad. Compared to visitors to the same city, residents are significantly underrepresented when it comes to leaving reviews. You can check this out for yourself. We really don't rely on TripAdvisor to find a place to eat in our hometown. And let me be honest here. When tourists write restaurant reviews on TripAdvisor, they often come across as experts in the local cuisine. They'll use headlines like "Best Paella Ever" or "Best Seafood in Valencia." Really? Do they suddenly become experts in all things paella and seafood after just a few days in the city? So the truth is that TripAdvisor ratings are usually based on the opinions of tourists and not locals or professional restaurant critics. These reviews are always subjective and only represent a tiny fraction of the people who actually dine there. So keep that in mind when you're looking for a restaurant, where the real locals spend their money. If you like what you've seen and what you've heard so far, it would be amazing if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel. The more support and traction these videos get, the more content I can create. So come on, grab a fork and get involved. Finally, I think demographics play a large part in finding good local restaurants. If like me, you're someone who's wandered north of 40 and remember the days before social media and online reviews, it wasn't really something you'd ever considered doing. Nowadays though, I'm confident that someone in their 20s is much more likely to share their opinions online, be it TripAdvisor or Instagram, than someone of my age. Now, I'm not passing judgment on this either way, but it does mean that online reviews are likely to be skewed towards younger diners than old. Let's face it, everyone's attitudes to food, noise, how busy somewhere is, the music, atmosphere, all changes as we get older. So you've got to consider who's more likely to write the review. Typically, I'd say it's folks under the age of 40, perhaps with less disposable income, and that means their definition of value might be different to someone who's say over 50 and has more money to spend. So what does that mean for you? Well, if you're older, you might want to take those TripAdvisor reviews with a grain of salt. Sure, there are plenty of great restaurants on there, but some of the ones that get top billing might not actually be your cup of tea. Now, as I'm sure you know, most restaurants are small family-run businesses that are trying to make it in a super competitive market. So when they receive these really negative reviews on TripAdvisor, it's awful to see that kind of talk in public for them, but it can also seriously hurt their business and reputation online. Now, does that mean they get things right all the time? No, of course it doesn't. But I think the best thing you can do is immediately tell the proprietor. Give him or her the chance to fix the problem there and then. Nowadays, so many people rely on online reviews to make their travel decisions, which makes TripAdvisor super important to these businesses. That being said, if you're smart about how you use TripAdvisor, I think it can actually help you get a better eating experience. You just need to ignore the reviews that are totally extreme, either good or bad, and look for the ones that are in the middle. And hey, competition that TripAdvisor fosters can actually make the industry better and raise the bar for everyone. But let's not forget that TripAdvisor is not the be-all and end-all of travel reviews, and there's not always a way to tell if someone's being truthful or not. TripAdvisor says they have zero tolerance for fake reviews, but we all know that doesn't mean it never happens. Personally, I like to look at guidebook reviews and ask for recommendations from friends or locals instead. And finally, as promised, here are a few tips for how to find brilliant local restaurants if you want to give TripAdvisor a miss this time. Number 1. Use your eyes and your feet. I know it's ridiculously simple, but why not walk around an area and see where's busy? If the local pub or Italian restaurant, for example, is busy on a Tuesday evening, then this is a very good sign as to what you'll get. Number 2, check out their socials. I think in this day and age, authenticity is so important. For a restaurant to keep an up-to-date and consistent high-quality imagery, plus being able to communicate with their audience in a genuine and engaging way is critical to success. For me, I'm much more likely to read their latest Instagram post and read the comments to get a feel for the tone and look of a place. Thirdly, talk to the locals. I find most people are more than happy to share their favourite spots with you, and if you enjoy chatting with people from different cultures, then this is a great idea. And finally, why not go old school? Use publications such as dining guides or local magazines and newspapers. Although they may cost money, they're usually written by independent authors whose reputations are on the line, so it can be more of a trusted source. So that's it. If you find anywhere amazing using these tips, then please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. And if this inspired you to look elsewhere for restaurant reviews, then why not watch one of the Dining Fables playlists coming up now? They'll take you inside some of the best restaurants my local area has to offer and show you exactly what to expect from the food if you decide to check it out.